Welcome to another edition of Sideline Sports, joined by Jake, John, and tonight's special guest, Cool McCain of PlayCallerSportsTalk.com. We're brought to you by Score No Score app. Download it on the Google Play Store or the Apple iTunes Store. Make sure you download that app. Had a lot of fun playing it this weekend during the San Fran Rams game. Seemed like San Francisco scored like every possession. Unlike the Rams, who cost me a lot of coins. So make sure you download that. You may catch us on there. But let's start off tonight, Jake, with what's going on in the NFL.
Well, you want to talk about you want to talk about teams that cost coins and cause problems. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers because
wow, you're gonna start there.
I gotta. Come on.
Wow.
Look, Cool will be happy to talk about that. He's an Eagles fan. I guarantee you, Cool. I'll ask you first of all, are you a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers by any means? I'm sure you're not.
Absolutely not.
And see, he'd be happy.
I'm
to
a
talk
one-team
about this
man.
then. See, and I know enough about the Pennsylvania rivalries to know that if you're an Eagles fan, you don't like the Steelers. It's just like if you're a Giants fan, you don't like the Jets. Now, I admit it's different. I know the Steelers and Eagles have a little more of a strenuous relationship, if you will. But with that said, Giants fans don't like the Jets. We don't root for them. So let's talk about this because they're the only team to have not beaten the Lions. And this game was beyond pathetic. I mean, I don't like to harp and razz on a team, but this was just bad. I mean,
you're pouring salt in the wound. You're pouring salt in the wound.
I personally wouldn't have bet on this game if I was a betting man. Just saying.
Listen, it's a suicide pool. You got no choice. You can only use each team once for the season. It's the Lions. You got to beat the Lions.
That felt like an easy bet. I agree.
That bet sounds just like suicide.
Well, that's why they call it a suicide pool.
The worst thing about the game for me is Jared Goff had 114 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and still Mason Rudolph could not outplay that.
Exactly. I would agree that that's a problem. I mean, I have a buddy of mine. He's a Steelers fan. He sat here through basically the entire game and watched with me. And as a Giants fan we had a bye week on this week, we couldn't lose again. That's going to be 3 Sundays in a row we can't lose because the week before we beat the Raiders. That was that the week? Yeah, right. That was last week.
Yeah.
Then this weekend we don't play, and next weekend we play the Bucs. So we play them on Monday night. We can't lose 3 Sundays in a row. As a Giants fan, this is like Christmas early. So we're watching this game, and I just kept saying, "Dude, I'm so sorry." I'm like, I know how this feels as a Giants fan. I am consistently used to this kind of pain that you're feeling right now. I understand it. As a fan of that team, I don't know how anybody watched that. I mean, that game was terrible.
It was great defensively.
Was it though?
Yeah, it was a great defensive game. You don't like old school games?
Are you kidding? What defense?
But
what do you mean?
Was it more that it was great defensively?
Swift was
or just so bad offensively?
I think it was both.
It was offensive ineptitude.
Guys like he was a hot knife through butter.
But you guys look at football like if there's no points scored, it's a bad game. You don't look at it like defense. Maybe the defense played really well. I mean, the Steelers' run defense was really bad. You say this is a bad game. The Lions ran for over 200 yards against the Steelers. That's impressive.
Right. So
how is that not impressive?
That's still 300 yards of offense.
But how's that not impressive?
That's not impressive.
When a team goes to Pittsburgh and runs for 200 yards in Pittsburgh on the Steelers defense? That's impressive.
I would like to address this really quickly. Chris, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I got to do the show, my man. This takes precedent over everything. Chris is an old friend of mine. He's an old friend of mine from high school, so he's razzing on me, I know. But you know what? Take my fan card. Go for it. I got a show to do. I gotta be professional here. Back to what we were saying.
On you. How did that how fantasy go for you this week?
You know what? I'm 10-0.
In one league. You're dead last in another league.
Hey, in 3 leagues, I have the best record of all 3 of us. Out of me, JB, and John. Cool.
But you have a league where you're dead last. And JB has a league where he's dead last.
And I have a league where I haven't been beaten. What's your point?
Just saying,
How'd
I'm
it go
not
this
dead
week?
last in any league.
And you're also not undefeated. Neither of you are undefeated
Yeah,
in
well,
either league. So what's your
9-1 in one league.
9-1.
See, he gets it. All that matters is that 10-0. See, he gets it. He gets it.
I don't know who this guy is, but he's obviously from Jersey.
He just took your
is.
fan card. He can't say all that
That's
matters
okay.
is 10-0 after he takes
That's
your fan
okay.
card.
Hey,
Yeah, that's a double standard.
hey, that's okay.
Nah, you're out of
10-0
order,
is
Christian Culp.
10-0
You're out of
is
order.
100% the most important league.
He is out of order.
John, you're out of order, buddy. Look, I'm the only undefeated team in any of those leagues. I'm not sitting here saying my team is the best. John, I want to talk about fantasy. If you want to go down this route, John, you lost by 0.2. You lost by 2 yards, John.
But
I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you because the team you played is in second place with a 9-1 record.
Not all of
And
us
I'm
can
10-0.
play a team
John,
that didn't do their lineup.
John, all you had to do was get 2 more yards. John, I watched that game.
Oh,
If
how do
Elijah
you think
Mitchell,
I'd feel?
if Elijah Mitchell gets the first down, gets those like 2 or 3 extra yards,
Yeah,
you win the match.
yeah, you're telling me.
I know. John, I never thought I would say this. I was rooting for you.
Oh, we
I
lost.
wanted-
We lost. Cool.
That's not
That's-
cool.
Cool obviously is not impressed with John's team. He said,
I'm out. Look, John, I never thought I'd say this, but I was rooting for you to win. I needed
Thank
you
you.
to win that
Thank you.
because I needed to. I needed
Oh,
to.
We didn't
I-
talk about.
Hold on.
We didn't
I
talk
needed to
about
get my
JB
cushion.
getting beat by his fiance.
JB didn't play.
"Oh, I didn't lose.
I played her.
won.
I
Huh?
lost.
No, in another league.
No, I won.
She said, "I beat you,
She's
baby."
talking to me probably.
Yeah,
'Cause I was talking.
Is she talking to you?
Yeah,
I
that's
assume
for
so.
Jay.
I don't think any of the leagues.
Hey,
I
In
I don't-
Fan Tracks,
Fantrax. I don't think
Fan
you
Tracks,
lost
I
her.
won.
Yeah, JB
I
won
won.
his match. I knew that.
Winner, chicken dinner.
And
Well,
then
then
I
she's
played.
wrong.
I played Deb in our other league, and I lost to her. Deb, I need you to chime in, but I believe she was talking to me.
She probably should
Yeah.
put a comma after the U and then like an exclamation point after the baby, just to separate that.
John's looking for punctuation on the messenger. This is great.
John is the grammar police today.
Thank you. Me
Guys
and
are
my
killing it.
overrated.
All right, we
I
gotta.
believe cranberry sauce is overrated for Thanksgiving next week.
Oh, we're
Maybe.
going to have this conversation.
This is a conversation that I think you two need to have. I don't know who this is supposed to be aimed at. I'm quite confused. I don't know if she was referring to me as that as a joke, or if she really meant that as you. And in which case, you are considered the other one, which kind of sucks to be you then. So either way, this doesn't sound like a great scenario if it's you.
Definitely not me, because I'm a winner. Winner, chicken dinner. Except for the
10-0.
Steelers.
10-0.
Getting
10-0 is all
back
I'm
to the
saying.
Steelers.
Back to the Steelers. Yes, please.
Steelers.
See? John, I
I
was right. I was right.
I don't
Which
think it's
JB
a
hold on,
bad
JB,
game.
That means you're the other one. You need to have a talk. That sounds a little. I'm concerned for you.
I don't think it's a
Wow.
bad game with the Steelers. When you see the Lions, who are winless, put up 200 rushing yards on the Steelers defense, to me, that's an impressive feat. I mean, you go in there, I don't care if TJ Watt got hurt or not. That's still impressive to do that on the road. They gave the Steelers a fight. You know, that's impressive from this Lions team that they didn't back down. I mean, that's a hostile environment, and they still gave it their all. Their quarterback's not a good quarterback, but that's quite the defensive effort from their defense.
I don't think that's the point of what we're making here. Is
No, I'm just saying, like, if I'm going to look at this
problem is-
game,
You said it was a good defensive game, but yet
and it
the
wasn't.
Lions had 200 rushing yards.
yeah, that's
that's-
impressive. But you could still
That's
play
good
good
offensively,
defense.
not defensively.
You can bend but not break.
Pretty much.
Right, but that's a good offensive thing, not a good defensive thing. And that's
Yeah,
the
that is a
problem.
good offense. But you could play good defense and somebody play good offense.
Right, but here's the thing: the Steelers didn't play good offense. They played garbage offense.
Oh yeah.
That's
The-
right. So
the
how can you
Steelers-
say it was a good defensive
The
game?
Steelers killed
If
themselves.
the Steelers defense let up 200 rushing yards, that's a negative. If the
was
Steelers
hard.
offense played garbage, meaning the Lions defense wasn't the sole reason they played poorly, where is the good defense? I'm waiting.
And
to
they
hear
held
it.
them to 16 points. That's
John, you
that's
held-
good.
No. You
No,
held Mason
they-
Rudolph.
Mason
to
They
16
bent,
Rudolph
points.
but
held
they
them to
didn't
16
break.
points.
They bent, but they
John,
didn't break.
listen,
John.
Rudolph
John.
is back on his way to
Yes.
the North Pole.
John, come on, dude. It's Mason Rudolph. Now, if you did this
Exactly.
with Ben
It doesn't
Roethlisberger,
matter. It doesn't matter.
It
It
does
does
matter.
matter.
Is
It definitely
Najee
matters.
Harris still there? Is Najee Harris
Does
still
And
there?
they
Najee Harris
underutilized
can he
him
play?
100%.
Can he play quarterback?
He
Does
basically
Najee Harris
does
play
anyway.
quarterback?
He basically does anyway.
But can he? And he can.
Does
All
he
they
play
do is-
quarterback?
All they do is dump off to him anyway. That's
Cool.
all they
I'm
do.
sorry you have to deal with this. He likes to avoid questions that he knows the answers no, or he's going to lose in that situation.
What do they normally do with Big Ben?
They probably would pass him a
They
little bit more effectively.
they get more than they did from Mason Rudolph. That's
Well,
for
Mason
sure.
Rudolph is a backup for a reason,
right.
He
And that's
is.
the point we're making.
So yeah,
but Ben
right.
Roethlisberger is close to that level too.
Nah, Ben's not close to
No.
that level.
He's
Yeah.
bad.
He
He's
may be bad, but Mason Rudolph is
All right,
atrocious.
so I'm going to make this really easy. Let's talk about this game. How bad was it? I mean, every time the
was
Steelers had a
terrible.
chance to win, they just shot themselves in the foot. Bad snap, two fumbles.
I'm going to say this.
overtime.
I think the biggest mistake, the main reason the Steelers lost, they didn't run the ball enough. It's a real simple fact. The game, it was raining. Mason Rudolph was the quarterback. And I remember I was with my friend. We were eating dinner. I saw my friend that's a Steelers fan, my friend Alex. I said, dude, you're not going to believe this. I said, take a guess. Somebody important on your team is out. And he has a joke with, he and I have a joke that there are basically 4 important players on the Steelers. Najee Harris, TJ Watt, Chris Boswell, and Big Ben. And
You're not
that's
gonna
the
mention
joke.
Deontay Johnson?
Yeah,
Well,
What do you
he's not
mean?
that big. He's not that
What
big
do
of a
you
player when he's getting the ball from Mason Rudolph.
exactly. But anyway, the point is, the joke is,
Oh well, the ball did
that's-
get sailed over
that-
his head a bunch of times.
the joke that we have is TJ Watt is the best defensive player they have. He's the most disruptive. Chris Boswell is, by default, the best special teams are, but he's a great kicker. He really is almost automatic. He's a great kicker. Najee Harris he speaks for himself, and Big Ben, he's important because he's the quarterback. So the joke is that he's running through us. I said, which of your important players out? He goes Najee Harris, TJ Watt, Chris Boswell, picks Big Ben last, and I go, yeah, Big Ben's out. The moment he said, I go, I'm going to tell you right now. I said, I have no idea what the money line was. I have no idea any of that. I said, not only am I taking the Lions on that side of the bet if I'm betting, I'm also taking the Lions to at least tie this game, if not beat you. I said, you're not winning this game. Why? Because Mason Rudolph is not good. Their game plan wasn't going to change, which it didn't. They didn't adjust to run the ball as much as they needed to, especially in a rainy game where passing was already going to be a difficult scenario for them with Mason Rudolph. It became even harder in the rain, but they didn't adjust to run more. The main reason the Lions kept themselves in that game, I believe they ran with DeAndre Swift, I want to say over 30 times, and Najee Harris, I think, ran for about 22 attempts. And it's something around those numbers. And then Detroit also ran, I believe, an additional between.
Don't forget the rookie. Yeah, the rookie
I was
that
gonna say,
they had.
I think I was
ran
going to say
really
like
well.
7 to 10 times, somewhere in that range with their other backs. They ran the ball probably close to 40 times. The Steelers, I think, maybe hit 30 with all their backs. That's the difference. The Steelers, when they needed to run the ball to chew up the clock and to basically end the game, they didn't. And that's it. That's why the Steelers lost this game. They didn't play well, but they weren't going to play well with Mason Rudolph. But if they ran the ball more and they did it timely, they would have won the game easily. The Lions weren't going to stop them. And that's why I said this game was so bad, not because of just the play. The ball was terrible. It was infuriating.
Listen,
I feel sorry for anyone who watched that entire game. I know people did.
I did. It was terrible.
For someone who had Pittsburgh in the suicide pool, watching that was torture because they had that game 4 times. And every time when it changed, I'm sitting there and you saw it happening. You know when you're just watching a horror movie, like a Friday the 13th or a Nightmare on Elm Street, you know what's going to happen next?
You know what's about to happen.
Closet, don't go into the basement. Don't separate from your friends. You know that you're about to get killed. I'm sitting there, hold on to the ball, fumble. Bad snaps coming. The rain's coming down. He's Mason Rudolph's in shotgun. The snap's 10 feet over his head. And you're watching, it's like, oh, it's just horrible.
Absolutely. And that's why I said it was such a bad game. The play calling was the worst part. The Steelers should have won that game at least 3 times. I honestly believe that.
It was that kind of week in the NFL, though. I mean,
It
started with the Thursday night game, Miami beating Baltimore. You know,
That was a definite shock.
That was, yeah.
and it just continued. I mean, the AFC West is cannibalizing itself. The NFC West, they're cannibalizing each other out there. The Rams lost last night to the 49ers. You know, it's just an epidemic with the way what's happening. Arizona, without Kyler, got destroyed.
JB, you want to talk about that real quick? Cam, he's back apparently.
Cam,
He's back.
Yes, he is.
I gotta tell you, that was awesome. I mean, I don't care if you like Cam or not. 2 touchdowns and 2 plays, good for him.
I can tell you the city of Charlotte went crazy for Cam.
I was gonna say.
got-
I was gonna ask you, Cole, how was that?
Yes.
I can only imagine how that was.
Yeah,
he's got
man.
something to prove. He's got a chip on his shoulder.
Mhm.
You know, I think if he's given the opportunity, he's going to show some. You know, he wants to play.
I mean, Bill Belichick has nothing but positive things to say about him, right? And the only reason he really let him go was because they felt like Mac Jones was going to be his guy. So, I mean, There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that.
Stupid. It's so stupid. I mean, why would I said this last night? Why would you let go if your team is what is 6-4 with Mac Jones, who's game managing? I mean, he makes some throws, but he's game managing. They're playing really good defense, running the ball really well for the most part. That's what they're doing. Cam gives you dual threat and throwing the ball. Why would you not keep that and let Mac Jones learn from a veteran who's won an MVP and been to a Super Bowl? If your team can be 6-4 with what they're at now with game managing, I think Cam would definitely be better than Mac Jones.
I'll tell you why.
He'd be more formidable.
I
don't understand it.
First of all,
I get why, but
Cam did not look good when he played for the Patriots. It just something wasn't working there.
But you didn't give him a chance this year.
Hold on,
he came off of COVID last year, and I know he was terrible last year, and I'm the one that I'll tell you about it. But they didn't give him a chance.
We call Mac Jones a game manager, but right now he looks like he might be the best quarterback out of this draft.
Stop it.
Record-wise, he's winning.
He's winning. They're winning.
Right now.
They're winning because they're playing
who's
defense.
Better? Out of that draft, right now, based on play, who's been better? Trevor Lawrence hasn't. Justin Fields hasn't.
Actually, I like Justin Fields better than Mac Jones so far. I like what I've seen, despite the Matt Nagy holding him back. I like the progression that Justin Fields has shown.
I think Mac is better. Based on
he's in a better situation,
But what about the number 1 pick, Trevor Lawrence? He's actually played really well on a crappy team with the crazy coach.
Played better. But I said this last night on the Sports Arena again about Trevor Lawrence. I said my knock on him coming out of college was he's going to have to be able to get used to losing. He's never lost in his life. He's never been a loser. So he has to humble himself and get used to losing in the NFL because he's going to have a lot of it the first 2 or maybe 3 years before the Jags potentially get good. Can he accept that? Because he's never lost in his life. It's always been win, 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 win. And he's arrogant. He's a cocky guy. I mean, I get that. You win all your life. That was always my knock. That's my concern. It still is my concern because you see that he gets frustrated. Can he lead the team? I want to see how he does in the offseason. I mean, we knew this year was going to be a bad year for the team. We knew that. But in the offseason, how does he adjust and look at the tape? How does he come back in year 2 after having such a humbling first year in the NFL and adjusting to the speed? Because typically rookies don't adjust to the speed the first year. How does he adjust year 2 is what I'm interested in. I don't care about this year. I don't care. We know it's going to happen. So that's what I want to see out of Trevor Lawrence is year 2. How does he take that leap from the lumps he's taken now, and what does he do in the offseason? That's what I'm curious to.
But shouldn't that be the thing for all the quarterbacks? Because the thing about a guy like Mac Jones, who's played well, now you get a season full of tape on Mac Jones. So now defenses get a chance to say, okay, this is what Mac Jones does well. This is what he doesn't do well. This is his mannerisms when he's in the shotgun, when he's going to throw, when he's going to run, different things like that he gives away. So I didn't
have to worry about the humbling for Justin Fields or Trey Lance or any of those guys. Trevor Lawrence was the guy that was the one knock I was concerned about was can he humble himself while he wins 1 or 2 games a year? Can he do that? And if he can overcome the goofiness that is Urban Meyer if he can do both of them things somehow, I think he'll be an elite quarterback one day. But he's got to be able to overcome Meyer and being able to lose, taking that on the chin like a man. If he could do that, then I think it'd be all right.
Well, I mean, I agree there, but can't we kind of say at least some of those things about Mac Jones? He comes from Alabama. That's a team that's always a winning organization. So if you kind of look at it, he's in a similar situation as far as mind state.
But he did have Nick Saban.
He's looking good. He's looking okay right now. But at the end of the day, it's still the beginning of his rookie year, and I like to always wait till year 2.
Yeah,
because I like to see
year 3 is when you find out if they're a bust.
I agree.
Yeah, I like to wait because I like to see those differences. I like to see when people know what they're going to do and how they can adjust their games once people have adapted to what they can and can't do.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah,
I honestly think the team of the week this week were the Giants. We didn't go out of loose.
Yeah.
They played well. They were sitting on the couch on Sunday, had the best dinner out. Didn't get into any trouble. No headlines in the New York media.
Hey, it's
this
good.
Week. Nobody arrested.
It's what we like to
nobody
see.
Injured.
You ain't gonna give them Eagles love?
Oh, hold on, but I want to go back to the rookie quarterbacks thing for a second. I think Mac Jones deserves some credit. Not only is he winning the most, okay, but forget that. He's playing the best. He's got the most yards. He's got the best touchdown to interception ratio. He's the most accurate. He's been the best quarterback. Whether you call him a game manager or not, he's been better than all the rest. He's the only one over 2,000 yards. He is, I believe, the only one with almost a perfect 2-to-1 ratio in terms of touchdown to interception. And I believe he might be the only one he is the only one of Jones, Fields, Lawrence with triple-digit touchdowns.
Question. Would he do this if he had Matt Nagy as his coach in Chicago?
No.
Exactly. Thank you.
And I don't blame him.
Thank you. That's all it needs to be said. That's all it needs to be said right there.
Is that Justin Fields' fault?
No, I'm just saying, if you put Justin Fields on the New England Patriots, he would be doing better than Mac Jones is right now. He would be killing it because he would actually be in a competent organization who's not going to put him out to dry like Matt Nagy has.
You take any quarterback that was on the Bears and put him on a different team and they'll be better. I mean, that's
I'm just saying.
Pretty fair.
I'm
saying if you put him on the Patriots, I think the Patriots would be better than they are with Mac Jones.
But I didn't say that. I said who's looked the best. It's been Mac Jones. I'm not trying to say that it's because of one thing or another. I'm not trying to pinpoint why. I'm just saying fact. Who has looked the best?
Right now,
in my opinion, the fact is it's got to be Mac Jones. There's nobody.
I think Fields.
Disagree.
Mac Jones all day.
Fields
I think Fields
would be
is number 2.
I believe Fields is the best quarterback to come out of this draft.
You don't think the adversity?
Hold on. I said that when the draft happened, Fields would be the best quarterback to come out of this draft. And I stick with that. He's mobile. He's got a great arm. He's got really good vision. He can throw across his body, up the field. He's got all that ability that a guy like Mac Jones, who's been playing the best, doesn't necessarily have, especially that mobility factor.
So here's one thing about it though, Jake. Here's one question I just want to ask you. So Fields did not start at the beginning of the season, right?
No.
So he did not get the reps at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So he's coming in 3, 4, 5 games into the season, and now he's asked to be the guy. So he's going to have the growing pains that Mac Jones had at the beginning of the season. He's going through those now. So if we're comparing a guy that started from game 1 to a guy that started 4, 5, 6 games into the season, of course the guy that started game 1 is going to have better stats. If he doesn't, then he sucks and he shouldn't be an NFL quarterback.
That's a good
you know
point.
what I'm saying? So
To that, Justin Fields' first game as the starter was only his 3rd game. It was week 3. So he played in all 3 of those. He played in those first.
And we
2
know
games.
what Matt Nagy did to him in that game.
But hold on.
Where he was sacked, 9 times?
He played in his first 2 games, not entirely, minimally. In his 3rd game, he actually played. And by his 4th game, he actually played. And the thing is, Mac Jones, you're right, he played those games. Mac Jones hasn't had too many growing pains. He's looked since day 1 relatively decent.
He got beat by Miami. He only put up 16 points.
He went 29 for 39, which is 74% completion percentage. That's pretty good. 281 yards. That's pretty good. 1 touchdown, no interceptions, a 102.6 passer rating. All
and
pretty
16
good numbers.
points to show
Hold
for
on.
it.
All good. That's not only him. There's more to that than just that. But the point I'm making is that's game one. I'm talking about just statistically. Just let's look at stats. Just purely that. He didn't go through growing pains in terms of being able to get the ball downfield, get the yards, get the touchdowns, make good plays. I'm not saying he was flashy and he was playing amazing, but he was accurate. He played relatively decent. Okay? He was a decent starting quarterback that day. That's the point. Justin Fields in his first game, even if you discount that game where against Cleveland, if we go to week 4,
that was
even if we go to week 4, Fields was only 11 for 17, 64%, almost 65, 209 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He had an 82 passer rating. It's not as good. I'm not saying he's bad, and I understand he deserves a handicap, if you will, because of his coach. I'm not taking any of that away, but if you just play statistically here, Mac Jones has played better than him. I know
you have to look at more than statistics.
You
have to look at more than statistics, though.
Yeah,
you can't just look at statistics.
The adversity that he is going through right now, the lumps that he's taken as an NFL quarterback, that could strengthen him eventually. Being able to go through this adversity can make you stronger, or it can break you. And he's the type of quarterback I think will strengthen him. Mac Jones hasn't experienced that yet. He hasn't gotten punched in the mouth yet. How's he going to handle that once he gets punched in the mouth?
I'm not saying that. I'm not taking any of that away. I'm just saying if you want to talk strictly how somebody's playing, he deserves the credit. That's all. Just
you got to use the eye test too, though. You can't just use the stats. You got to also look.
And I'm perfect. And look, if you want to talk about eye test, Mac Jones
what's around you
eye test for now.
Well, he's passing your eye test, and that's fine. But like, Fields is number one. He's a dual threat quarterback. Mac Jones is not that. So Fields is a guy who has to know when to use his legs, has to know when to use his arm. Also, the team in Chicago is not as good. I mean, I'm not going to try to make the argument that if you put Fields in New England, he would be just as good, but he would look a lot better if he started in New England from week 1, unquestioned starter. So I'm saying, for me, it's an incomplete for them both. It's not necessarily Fields is better or Jones is better. It's an incomplete for them both because are we going to look at games? Are we going to look at the team? Are we going to take all those things into account? Or are we just going to say, okay, we're only going to use the stats, right? So it depends on how we're looking at it. But if we're looking at the totality, I think it's an incomplete for them both.
I think Fields cannot be properly judged as a whole until Matt Nagy's gone, and I will stick by that. And I've said basically,
I definitely don't disagree with that.
I've said that basically since the beginning. These two up top know that I've said since the beginning, Justin Fields will be the best quarterback out of this draft, and I stick by
I've said that. I actually said that as well.
I wholeheartedly have agreed with that. And I said Trevor Lawrence is good, but I feel he's a little overrated. I think he's a decent quarterback.
I don't think he's overrated talent-wise. I just think he's in a really bad situation. He has to put it. It's going to take a while to put it together.
I think people rate him so highly because he won so much. And
my co-host
him. And I'm not saying
agrees with you.
I don't mean to take anything away from him. I don't mean
my co-host agrees with you. But
I'm just saying that I think everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's so amazing." And then I watched him and I said, "He's good." But I don't think he's not the next Tom Brady like some people make out to be. I think he's a good quarterback, but he's yet to show me on the NFL level enough for me to say, yeah, he was worth that number.
Go look at Peyton Manning's rookie year.
I know.
Go look at Peyton Manning's rookie year.
I understand that. That's why I said so far. I'm saying as of now. I'm not saying all told. Okay. You will prove me wrong in time, probably.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying right now. I'm very clear that it's right now.
That's
right now, none of them are of the Mahomes, Brady, Manning caliber. None of those three. And I don't think any of the three will progress to that. Do I think that any of the three will win a Super Bowl? I think all three of them have the capability. I think Mac Jones would be third in that list. How are they playing today? Mac Jones by far is doing the best.
And that's exactly the point I'm making. That's all.
You know, do I think talent-wise he's the best? No. Do I think given years down the road, who I think will be competent to take a team to a Super Bowl and win, is he my choice? No. But today,
no.
If you have to ask me which guy right now today do I want on whatever team they're on, leading them out of the tunnel and playing 60 minutes, I'm going New England and Mac Jones.
Just know Mac Jones. Mac Jones doesn't get to play the Jets again this year, Jake. Just so you know.
That's fun.
That's two of his big games right there is the Jets. So he doesn't get to play the Jets again.
He's played
well. Not until next year.
You have to understand in Chicago, besides Nagy being a problem, you also have the offensive line that hangs Fields out to dry.
Oh, absolutely. I know.
So he's hampered.
Trust me, I feel terrible for Fields. I said Fields would be the best quarter. I don't even remember. I said Fields would be the best quarterback, but he's in the worst situation. Remember we talked about this? I said Trey Lance has the best situation, and he's a decent quarterback. And I said Mac Jones is also a good quarterback with a good situation, right? I said Trevor Lawrence is also a pretty solid. He's a decent quarterback. I said I didn't think he was properly rated, but I said he's got a terrible situation.
Yeah.
And I said Fields was the best quarterback out of this draft, but he's got a terrible situation, arguably the worst, if not the second worst, only to Trevor Lawrence. So it doesn't matter. And
let's not forget Zach Wilson is the number 2 overall pick, and he's in a bad situation.
I don't even care about him because not only is his situation
we're talking top quarterbacks drafted. He was drafted.
He might be the worst quarterback of this draft.
I thought he was going to be the worst quarterback of the draft. Now I'll say this for me. I don't understand how Justin Fields was not worst case the second quarterback off the board. So when I saw that, I was like, we have some scouting departments who are going to be in a whole lot of trouble in a couple of years when they have to explain why they passed on Justin Fields or some of these other guys.
I 100% agree.
I said the Jets should have taken Penny Sewell too, and then drafted a quarterback following year once they built up the line with him and the guy they drafted last year. So that's what I thought they should have done. Build from the interior and start there.
I agree. All right. I think we have another guest. Yep. So cool. Where can they find you? Any socials, anything you got? Shout it out.
Just want to quickly say shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles with the dominating 30-13 win over the Denver Broncos, who the week before spanked a certain team in the NFC East. Not going to call any names, but everyone knows.
Cool. We were both happy about that.
Yes, sir. But you can find me on Friday nights, playcallersportstalk.com, live interactive sports talk. You can also find me on Thursday nights on the Sip Off with Megan Price. You can find me on Monday nights on the NBA Carousel, also hosted by Megan Price. And on social, Twitter, Cool McCain, Instagram at Cool_McCain, and always on Facebook at Cool McCain. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely cool.
It's always a pleasure.
All right. And now JB, we got Shon. So JB, you got in contact with Shon, I believe, right?
Yeah, Shon, how you doing tonight?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing, man?
Doing well. How you doing?
What's going on, guys? Oh man, it's going pretty good, man. Can't complain. Weather's good. Everything's good down here.
Good. So
you were at the University of Texas. One of probably the greatest backfields of all time. I mean, if you could go through NCAA history and find backfield, you had yourself, Ricky Williams, and Priest Holmes all in the backfield at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy. If you look at it now, it's crazy. If you really look at it, like as a youngster, you competing with them. You know what I'm saying? You don't look at them as like Ricky Williams. Like Ricky came in as my fullback. And Priest was my backup. So, and they had another guy named Darrell Wilson that was, it was so many backs. And then they had Wayne McGarity, who ended up playing for the Cowboys, went to play receiver. They moved him to wide out because it was just so many guys in the stable. So, yeah, man, it was crazy. It was crazy.
So when you were choosing colleges, I mean, you went to University of Texas, a great program, lots of history. What made you choose UAT?
Man, mainly it was like Notre Dame being shown on TV a lot. Like your Rocket Ismails, your Brooks, your Jerome Bettis, you know what I'm saying? Your what's the big back that used to play for the 49ers? He played for Seattle too. Talked a lot of noise too, man. Played for the 49ers, caught the ball at the backfield a lot. But Ricky Waters, I like watching all those guys. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I like watching all those guys. And, Texas wasn't on TV a lot. So, you know what I'm saying? Plus, they didn't recruit from our high school that much. And then once we start getting the ball rolling, once our high school start producing these good athletes like your Cedric Shaws and your, Kenneth Alexander, your Mario Freemans and all those guys, then UT start biting and coming. And, man, my mother made me choose UT out of anybody. You know what I'm saying? She wanted me to stay at home. So, man, I was like, man, Oklahoma. Like, I had, it was crazy. Like, it happened overnight. Like, almost, you score these 5 touchdowns in high school. Wasn't no, social media back then. But I'm scoring all these touchdowns. All of a sudden, all these recruits start coming out of woodwork, like Miami, Florida State. Like, I'm like, man, for real, this is a dream. I'm like, man, this is crazy. And so as the season started getting better, I started getting better and better and better. And schools start coming. So I wanted to go to LSU at first. That was my dream school. I wanted to go to LSU. Then I was like, man. Then next thing you know, Oklahoma come. Oklahoma promised me some good things, but I can't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? But Oklahoma promised me some good things, guys. So I was like, man, should I go to Oklahoma? Then A&M came, and then the big school came. That was Alabama. Alabama just won that national championship with Teague and all those guys, Curry and them, all those guys. I remember those linebackers and all that. So I was like, man, they coming off a national championship. Should I go to Alabama? I don't know. Should I go out of state? So it was just crazy. So I was just like, man, my mama said, you need to go to Texas so I can come see you play. I'm like, God damn, I'm all right. So then I ended up signing with Texas.
That's always a good excuse.
Yeah, man.
Can't say no to mom.
That's how it was.
When mom says to do so, you say, all right, fine.
Yeah, man. Back then, I was like, it was coming so quick, man. That was the one, like, the hardest decision for any kid to make is to pick what school. Because these coaches, man, they'll promise you anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, once I signed with Texas, because I went to JUCO first. I went to Blinn Junior College. My head coach was Willie Fritz for Tulane. I was his first recruiting class. And our recruiting class was better than the Southwest Conference recruiting class because we had so many great guys at Blinn. So I was like, man. So he was like, come to Blinn, Oklahoma. Like, you can come to Oklahoma and sit out for a year. And you ain't got Alabama, like, you ain't got to worry about no test. Just come. I was like, damn. I'm like, man, wait. It's crazy. So I'm having all these options. So I'm like, man, you know what? Willie Fritz promised me something good. So I ended up going to Blinn, and the rest is history, man. It was a good time.
That's awesome.
So when these coaches promise you stuff, how many of them actually follow through?
Depends on how good the player is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're producing, like, I can't tell you the coaches, but
right.
But I'm like, coaches was like, we was playing in like one of the big games. I'm just gonna say a big game. Yeah. He was like, hey, Shon, if you go out here, the coach know who he is. I ain't gonna put him on blast. But he's like, if we win this game, I'm gonna get you hey, that car you wanted, I'm gonna get it. The big screen TV you wanted, I'm gonna get it. We end up losing. I cried my ass off.
What about playing time? Like, how many of them promise you playing time, like right off the bat, and actually followed through with it?
They do, but also you got to produce. Some guys they gonna give chances to until you blow it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I got to Texas, they was like, we got Priest, and I wasn't scared of. Priest wasn't Priest. So, like, I wasn't fearing.
He was just another guy at that point.
Yeah, like, I wasn't fearing none of those running backs. Like, none of them had 1,000 yards. None of them. I felt like I was better than all of them.
You did your first year. You did your first year.
Man, it was. Boy, if I could tell y'all the story about they didn't even want me to do it my first year. But like, they couldn't sit me down because I was.
Yeah, you averaged 6.2 a carry. I don't know how you said that.
So, they was. And coming from JUCO All-American, I was All-American in JUCO, which was crazy. Like, I had my stats in JUCO was stupid. I didn't even play like if you look at I didn't play like the first and I played no third quarters, fourth quarters. Man, I was out of the game by then because we were blowing people out. It was silly. I wish I would have known what I knew now. I would have ratted up stats, broke every record, and just did some crazy things. But with the time with the coaches is they be like when I was getting recruited by Texas, I was like, man, I don't know what they gonna do. They promised me this. They got Darryl Wilson. So when you get there and you're working out with them and you seem like, man, if I ain't starting by the end, we didn't have the transfer protocol. But if I ain't starting by the end, I quit this school. I ain't that one of these. Then I seen Ricky and I was like, man, he ain't got nothing I ain't got. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ricky was my roommate. I'm older than him by like a couple of years. So Ricky like seen everything I was doing. Like, if you look at he start like when I left, he took my style. I ain't gonna say nothing, but I talked to Ricky out. That's my little brother. He know it. We talked roommate. We was roommates for so long. But with the coaches though, I feel like you gotta produce. Like if you ain't gonna produce, they're gonna give you all the opportunities, especially if you're a 5-star. They're gonna give you every opportunity till you mess it up. And then once you not producing, then they're gonna be like, hey man, he ain't who we thought he was. So they're gonna start cutting your time. Next thing you know, you ain't gonna be
They're
seeing
just like, all right, goodbye.
Yeah, then you're not
Yeah.
producing like they thought you was. And that's how it is, man. It's crazy.
So you talk
And
about
I don't know
Ricky.
what's going on with my goddamn horns now, but shit. But I don't know, fellas. Sorry about my words, but dang, it's frustrating.
You talk about Ricky. Are you guys still close? You guys still friends? I mean, have you stayed in touch
man,
over the
me and
years?
Ricky, yes. What's so bad about it? I'm getting ready to train his son. So
Really?
he got
That's
a son.
awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, he was at my gym not too long ago. Yeah, we keep in contact, man. We still cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I still
Seems
hang
like
out
he's
with some of
doing
the
well.
guys.
Seems like he's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing good. He got the liquor store. He got got the marijuana shop. You see he ain't on Longhorn Network no more, but too many legal things going on. But yeah, but he's doing well, man. I mean, I wish all hats off to him. Great guy. I ain't got nothing but positive things to say about him. Like I always tell him, man, that's my good guy. That's my little brother, man. Much love. People tried to see, growing up in Austin, people like, man, we hate Ricky. I'm like, watch out. It ain't his fault that the coach is putting the one back set in. Shit, it ain't his fault. But people used to go so mad, man. I'd be like, it's all right, guys. Man, that's crazy. But it is what it is.
Yep.
JB, yeah.
Have you thought about coaching possibly at Texas or somewhere else?
Man, I thought about coaching. You know what I'm saying? I coached I coached 7th grade, 8th grade, Pop won a lot of that stuff, my degree in coaching and stuff. But it's hard to get it. Sometimes it's hard to get through to these kids because, matter of fact, like prime example, one of our D-line coaches got on, they blew it up on social media, and one of the guys is filming the coaches getting on your ass. Like, I'd rather train them than to go through all the frustration, and you know what I'm saying? It's just too much, man.
Kind of like
I want to get
the Trent Dilfer video.
Yeah, like, you can't, whatever goes on in this house stays in this house, no matter what we do, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my only thing. I would love to coach, but that's my only thing is just, breaking these kids down. And I train them all the time so I can have fun and I can really say what I want to and not be exposed. You know what I'm saying? Like, get your ass up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Give them the tough love that they need.
Yeah, I can give them the tough. Like, man,
coaches I had nothing wrong in my mind with what Trent Dilfer did. I actually liked what he did. I think that he was just trying to get through to his player, trying to show him. It was a teaching moment from Trent Dilfer to his student. Some people didn't like it because he kind of grabbed him and stuff, but I actually didn't mind it because sometimes you need to do that with your player because, I mean, they need to. Your job is to teach them, to prepare them for life, not just about football. Right,
After
exactly.
After football.
And especially
I
agree.
I totally agree.
There's so much going on during a game. You got to get the kids focused. You're not grabbing to hurt them. You grab it to say focus. This is what's going on. You're not grabbing to injure them or to belittle them.
But nowadays that's what these
kids out of proportion.
Yeah, and nowadays you got so many. See, back then when we didn't have none of this social, you know how many guys face masks was getting pulled in practice. Guys telling them get out of here. You know how many things I done seen in practice where coaches say, man, F the kid. Let's move over. You know what I'm saying? If he don't want to be a nowadays you can't do that. Kids got so much lead pool and they can say what they want to say, and it's next thing you know, your whole program is shut down. Parents don't like it. Like, dang, you can't even teach your kid. You can't even tell your kid nothing. But I'm trying to provide something for them, and you still getting mad at me.
If I had a video recording of my old practices in high school,
what?
Forget it. Can you imagine what they would do to their coaches nowadays?
Man, you know what they do to these coaches now? Oh man, I'm talking about. I'm getting titty grabbed in high school, thumbs pulled back, everything. Man, it was sick. You couldn't do no running until you throw up, and the only thing we had to drink was the cows. The cows that had the water coming out. They wasn't giving no water break. Back then, water was too bad for you. They were like, man, you can't drink that water. You're going to cramp up. Oh, man, I'm dying out here. But that's how it was, man.
And if
It's
one
just
messed up, you all ran Cal
you
out.
all. Nowadays,
I remember
everybody
that.
look at you run by yourself. They won't even run with you.
No, if one messed up, the whole team messed up. That's how our team was.
Yeah.
That's how we was, man. That's how we was. That's all it is.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and everybody keep blaming, like they keep saying, man, well, we need to get rid of Stark, coaches. But I gotta say this: you gotta look those players in the eyes, man, and ask them, damn, you can't make that catch, you can't make that throw, you can't make that tackle. It's up to you. Sometimes you gotta bite down on your mouthpiece.
You're right about that. Yeah, JB, go. No, go. I was gonna say, do you have any more questions?
So, what was your most memorable moment playing for Texas?
My memorable moment playing at Texas, man, getting 1,000 yards. Something that ain't happened in 10 years. Not getting, having a primetime back like my fullback was a true running back. He wasn't a fullback. He won a Heisman Trophy. He wasn't a fullback. So to get 1,000 yards,
labeled as a fullback.
Yeah, but he was. Hold on. But he had to play fullback for me. But he wasn't a fullback. But to get 1,000 yards, you know what I'm saying? To do something like in 10 years and all the running backs that came through that couldn't get 1,000, I chunked that up, man. You know what I'm saying? Never touching the ball over 20 times. Come on. I never grabbed the ball over 20 times.
Efficiency.
People always hear that. I got to tell that story. It was, nowadays you got backs that getting 350 carries. The back that's at Texas now got 40. I would dream to get 34 carries in college. Man, that's 350 yards.
So, what's your thoughts
on
all the conference realignment with Texas and Oklahoma going to the
SEC? I feel like that's a good idea because I tell my kids now, if I had an option to go to Texas nowadays and A&M nowadays, I would go to A&M because they're in the SEC, and it's a business deal because A&M, you go A&M and average 700 yards against all those good teams there, and you go to Texas and you go 1,200 yards, they're going to draft that running back from Alabama just off the strength of the program he played at.
So what do you think about college players finally getting paid now?
Well, college
what do you think about
always
that?
been getting paid. They always been getting paid.
No, right. But yeah. Like the deals that they're able to make now, and they're finally getting compensated like they should be.
That's
legally?
Great. I mean, that's what you live for. Because me and Ricky was talking like, can you imagine? Because they was calling us the BMW backfield. Can you imagine being sponsored by BMW? Man, hold on. We was the BMW. Come on.
Forget what coaches were telling you. Whatever car your coach promised you, you get free BMWs for all three of you.
Oh, right? Of course. We riding in style. You can't tell us nothing there, fellas. We all got our own BMW. We doing everything with the likes and all this good things you get to make now. Oh man, sponsorship. And I'm from Austin. I'm finna have every steakhouse. I'm finna live it up. I'm the best thing ever come through here. So I gotta live it up, guys.
You would have living the dream, right?
Oh man, I would have been living the dream. Oh man, getting paid. I mean, they was trying to sneak. I was scared to get. They was sneaking money up under the door back then. I was scared to touch it. I was like, oh, for real? Oh, this is serious. Okay. Y'all didn't hear that from me, fellas.
No, we all know. We all know that's how it's always been in college.
Right. Yeah, like those handshakes are for real. Those booster handshakes, they are for real.
Yeah, that ain't fake.
That ain't fake, man. That's why
there's more to that handshake than just a handshake. There's a little money in between.
It's the handshake to go. You can get to my restaurant. You can whatever you're free to get
whatever you need as long as you can throw that pass or catch that ball.
Yep. As long
block
as you
that tight end.
They're gonna always have love for you, man. That's what I love. That's like Texas is almost like a professional. I mean, it's a professional by itself. The college. We don't got no pro team, so when you do something good down, that's why Vince Young loves it so much down here.
That's why I always thought Blue Chips was one of my favorite movies about college sports, because in that parody, there's a lot of truth to it, and you have all the basketball coaches in there doing that in the movie, and it's like they're really
they don't
doing
really do that, do they?
Yeah,
You know they do.
Yeah,
They're not going to be
you
in a
know
movie
they do.
about it when they're doing it, right?
Right.
But, you know,
Yeah, you know, movies bring out the best. I mean, movies really show a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Especially at Blue Chip, they was really showing how them basketball players always been getting paid. They get paid more than all of us because you know they get max money. I mean,
Yeah, there's
5
a
years,
smaller amount
250
of
million.
them. Yeah, so you don't got to spread it out amongst a football team,
Nah.
just a small basketball team.
But when I did see Patrick Mahomes get that $400 million, I almost went crazy. Oh Lord, 400? They gave him. Who you gonna pay else?
right? I should have
bro.
learned how to throw the football. I don't know what I was
Man, who you telling? I wish I could have played quarterback. I should have stayed there.
Yeah.
But quarterback made me go back to running back. I
Quarterback's
cracked my
always the
kneecap.
All right, guys. Do you have any other questions or anything else?
No, before we wrap up. No,
Yeah.
I think that's it. I appreciate you. Thank
Yeah,
you for
Shon,
coming
thank
on.
you.
Hey,
We
man,
really appreciate your time.
y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, man. It's been fun, man. Anytime y'all need me, I'm here for y'all, man. Have fun.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure. I'm sure we'll see you on the Score No Score app as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we definitely getting that in, man. We definitely got to bring that out. We got to bring that out here one day, man. Let y'all all play it, man. It's a very fun game, man. Hey, we're going to try to blow that thing up when we trying to blow it up. Man, with y'all help
that's what we're all about. We're all about that.
Yeah, man. We want y'all help too, man. So once we can all get on, we all need to play it just like this. We all sit on our phones.
You got it.
In, you know what I'm saying? We can gamble a little bit, but y'all didn't hear from me. But
hey,
just kind of like you got paid on the side.
It's just like college football back in the 90s.
Exactly.
Hey, man, the 90s was the best years, guys. Golly, man. I love the 90s, man. I can't go back. You see the grin in my beard. But y'all guys have a good night, man. Thanks for talking to y'all, man. Y'all bless y'all.
Thanks,
Take care, Shon. Thank you again.
Have a great night.
All right, guys.
All right. We got a couple minutes before we got to wrap up. I know there's one thing I really want to quickly just fit in. We don't have to make a lengthy discussion. Baseball news, John. There's one big thing that happened today. And it's not even that big, but it's big because it's the offseason. Noah Syndergaard to the Angels.
Christian McCaffrey's twin brother goes to the Angels. Because they both live in the blue mountain.
Yeah, I know what you're making. I know. Because they're always hurt. Yeah, I was talking to somebody today about it, and I said, it's a nice idea, but it doesn't mean anything to me because he's going to
Can we get a blue medical tent for baseball players? I would really enjoy that. I mean, it would make the injuries a lot more dramatic. More fun. Yeah, that broken leg's a lot more fun. The blue tent.
Oh, there goes Syndergaard going to the tent again.
I mean, it'll make it more dramatic whenever you're watching the World Series.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit in. They're trying to speed up games.
Why not? Send him to the medical tent. Bring him back.
No.
And in baseball, they should be able to take players out of the game and then put them back in whenever they want. You should be able to re-enter a game just like football and basketball players do and hockey players. Why in baseball should they never be able to come back in? Why?
I don't like it.
Why? Why not?
I think
the other sports you could come back in.
So I think it should be this way though. If specifically for batting order, they only can come back in obviously the same spot they were previously, no matter what.
Yeah, that's
if they were number 5 in the lineup, they got to come back at number 5.
Yeah, so they can't move Chris Davis or whatever to number 1.
You can't just keep moving him to just get him the bat next. That wouldn't be fair.
We'll take it there and Judge and just keep moving him around.
Right.
This is called the Savannah Bananas, guys. We talked about this before.
I love the Savannah Bananas.
What's wrong with them? They probably love Score No Score as well.
They make baseball.
Everybody loves Score
so
No
much more
Score.
fun.
Yes.
Listen, you're out of order if you don't like Score No Score. If you like the Savannah Bananas,
I thought you were saying I'm out of order. I go, what did I do? I go, I'm just saying the Savannah Bananas are fun, and we're saying Score No Score is good. What did I do wrong here? I sat here and did nothing.
Score No Score is the best, no doubt about it. The Savannah Bananas,
But what's wrong with being able, as long as you follow Jake's rules, come back in a baseball game?
I don't see
why in the other sports can you come back in, but baseball's the one sport you can't.
Because the whole idea is you have a limited roster. You have more guys on your roster per capita with baseball as opposed to the other sports.
Basketball's a limited roster. What, 12 people?
Yes, but no. With the amount of people you need. Baseball, you need 9 guys playing at once. And if you have the DH, it's 10. Right?
Right.
You only have 2 guys per thing. So once you start switching out, you can always it doesn't work with baseball. I'm anti.
I'm with John, and I hate saying that. It hurts me. But I would agree.
Wow.
I mean,
you're out of order.
Yeah, but there's no reason not to do it. It doesn't make sense. I mean, if a guy gets hurt, let's say he's just got cramps, he comes out for an inning and he comes back in the next.
What if he goes to the blue medical tent for an inning?
Yeah,
he wants to come back.
He just needs a banana. He needs some electrolytes. Seriously, he's just got leg cramps. That's it. It's a hot day.
Now he's out of the game for good. Now he's out of Game 5 of the World Series for good.
No, but just middle of summer. Hold on, middle of summer.
Can man up. He can man up, get through the half inning, and the half hour the other team's batting, he can get.
Oh, but why? But why can a football player? Why can a football player get hurt, leave the game for a quarter, and then come back? Why is that allowed? He should be out of the game, right?
That's the rules of football.
He should be out of the game.
Right, and that's what we're saying. They should be changed. I
also
will say this.
Throw a forward pass.
Hold on, I'll say this.
Throw a forward pass.
If you take a player out, they must be out for the full inning. So if you take them out in the top of the seventh, they can't say, "Oh, I'm fine," and then bat in the seventh. That wouldn't be fair. That would be wrong.
That's fair.
Out of order.
I think that's completely fair.
The way it should work is very simple. If the batter can catch the ball and throw it over the fence, it's a home run, right? He doesn't have to swing the bat anymore.
That's a long throw. I'm not going to lie. It's a long throw.
If he
could stand at home plate.
I mean, you know what? I would be okay with that because honestly, if you can throw from there all the way 300 plus feet.
All right, guys. I'm taking over the show right now because they've gone off the deep end.
And we're taking the show back. If you can throw 300 plus feet, I think you deserve a home run all day. I think, screw it. You know what?
You might throw your arm out.
I'm going to say this. It's an automatic win if you can throw it over. From home
Stand
plate.
At home and toss it over the big green monster.
Exactly.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Well, it's not just throwing it. You have to catch it from the pitcher first.
Exactly. So it's even harder now.
So the batter's got to catch it with his bare hand and throw it? That's what you're saying?
No, he can catch it with his glove.
What glove?
What?
The batter? The batting gloves?
The batter, yes.
The batter can't catch it with a glove. He can't put a glove on.
No gloves.
No. So he's got to catch it with his bare hand from a 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Is he supposed to just break his hand?
That's what I was confused about.
Well, you got to pick the right pitch. You can't do it on a fastball.
So what is it? A strike if he goes to catch it and he misses?
If it's in
is
the
it
strike,
batter interference?
Right,
how does this work?
I'm muting JB, and I'm just going to say it because you're out of order. We're done with this. This is it.
We went off the deep end. He went off the deep end.
Yeah, really. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'm ending the show here. Okay, we're running out of time as is, but I don't want to hear this baloney anymore. I'm done. This is.
I imagine catching a Roldis Chapman fastball to the fingers.
I mean, seriously.
Well, you wouldn't do it on that. You would do it on an off-speed pitch.
How do you know it's an off-speed pitch? And does it count as a hit batter?
No, it's not a hit.
No, it doesn't?
It would have to be
No, but what if he stands in the batter's box and gets plunked? Does he say, do they go to the tape? Do they throw the red challenge and go to the tape and look whether he was he was trying for a catch or if he was just standing there? How does that work, JB? How? See, these are the things you haven't thought about.
It's very simple. No hit batsman.
Oh, so no hits batsman. I'm going to plunk people in the head. Doesn't count as a hits batsman.
I'm going to throw 100 miles per hour right at their face.
You're not going to catch the 100-mile-an-hour.
And they had intent because they put their hands up to stop it. So technically they were going for the catch.
They're going to catch it with their face, and it's going to break their jaw. That's good.
If they can get up and then toss, how long do they have to toss it once they get plunked?
No, they're going to catch it on a fly. You can't hit the ground.
Oh, okay. So now we need challenge. We need replays where you can throw the red flag and stuff. Make sure it didn't hit the ground.
Guys,
listen, if you have a better way of doing it, email us.
Yeah, sure.
Coming across.
We're out of time, basically. John, where can they find you, buddy? I'm sorry we had to devolve into this madness.
Fox Sports, 1340 AM. Sideline Sports, of course, DBNA Television, Cardiac Cane, and Fin Fanatical and Fansided Sports Arena. Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel. Thursday nights, 7 to 8 Eastern Time, because we never forget Alex Fleming. Of course, like I said, Sideline Sports, Bluehawks 13 Twitter. This is the most important place with the most important face. I got away with it before Jake could.
JB, where can they find you? I don't want to hear it, John.
JB_ the program on Twitter. Obviously, Sideline Sports, DBNA Television every day. Make sure you're watching. Facebook, Twitter, everywhere.
Everywhere.
The program on the Believe Network. Both sides of the coin starting tomorrow, right here on Sideline Sports.
Yes.
The NBA Carousel, which I produce. Alex Fleming's NFL Carousel, San Diego Chargers. I don't know where else I'm going to be, but I'm everywhere.
Did you say San
So
Diego?
It's his old man brain.
I'm still in San Diego. We're not going to LA. We don't have any fans there.
All right, JB.
I'm going to LA.
You're done. All right, you guys can find me on Twitter at Jake_Malik. You guys can find me here on Sideline Sports every Tuesday night, 8:30 when we go live. You can find Sideline Sports on DBNA television. And most importantly, as you see on the bottom of your screen, as always, all the places Sideline Sports is, Instagram and Twitter at Sideline Sport 1. We have a Facebook page and a group. Check out both. YouTube and Facebook, Sideline Sports. There you go. DBNA television, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that great stuff. On Score, No Score, basically everywhere. You never know where we're going to be. Guys, anything else?
Yeah, make sure you wake up every morning 4 a.m. with your Dunkin' Donuts coffee, like I like Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
All right.
My Folgers coffee. You want coffee and us every morning?
All right,
it doesn't get any better than that.
Have a good one. John's just extending this.
I like to dunk my donuts in my coffee.